Is this a setup? That's my question today. As I forgot to connect my Wi-Fi. Is this a setup? What I mean is this a setup? This is a story that I've been covering over the last few days because it is the beginning of the year. And this is a Ten of Hearts year. And the theme for the year has been, hey, it's a lot of things that got to get resolved. Either people are going to be confronting direct, physical, or face-to-face confrontation, or people are going to be resolving disputes that have been going on for the last few years. And this situation we see with Adin Ross and Glasses Malone is something I'm following very closely because I see it as a theme for white-black relations throughout the year moving forward. These aren't the most popular people in the world, but I always pay attention to when something grabs my attention. Because Adin Ross is somebody I don't give a fuck about. I really like Post Malone. I mean, not Post Malone. Glasses Malone. I've always thought that brother had wisdom. But I'm not that much into a lot of the hip hop stuff that he talks about because, me, I'm more of a music is much bigger than hip hop. Hip hop is just a microcosm of what we do. It's not the thing that we do. We go a lot deeper than hip hop. So for that reason, I don't follow as closely. But it's similar to that Diddy situation. Y'all remember, I never gave 2/3 of a fuck about Diddy. Not 1/5 of one damn about Diddy. I never have. But for some reason, back in 2023, I was following and doing a lot of stories on Diddy, and I did not understand why. And then I did a reading on him, and then a month, in the reading it said, okay, this man's about to go to jail. He about to get locked up and be dealing with courtroom situations. And then a month later, boom, everything now we see happening. If you think I'm BSing, just go back to my YouTube in the year 2023. I did videos talking about how Diddy killed R&B. It wasn't even about Cassie and all that stuff because my videos was before Cassie. By the time Diddy got arrested and I stopped doing videos on Diddy. The minute he got arrested, the minute he got charged, I didn't do no videos on him. I didn't really follow the trial like that. But for some reason, I was following somebody who I never gave a damn about. Earlier in 2023, then we saw what happened. So now, for some reason, I'm attracted to this whole situation going on with Adin Ross, Wack, Glasses Malone, Doechii. Again, I don't listen to Doechii's music like that. I think that what she does is dope. It's cool, whatever. You know? But for some, I don't know why this has my attention all the way. I do know that for some reason, it's a crystal ball, like I should say. It's a microcosm of a bigger thing that we're going to be seeing throughout the year. And that's the only reason why I think I'm attracted to this situation. Outside of that, outside of the good brother Glasses Malone, I don't give enough of a fuck about none of these niggas to even care about what's going on. So for those of you who don't know who these people are, that's fine. You know what I mean? For those of you who think that, okay, Dewan and other things to talk about, that's fine. Go. But I'm where I'm at right now. I'm following something I feel. You dig? And only time is going to tell on the back end why I'm following this situation so close. All right? Well, we about to get into it because Adin Ross offered $100,000 to black businesses, black businesses. Let's put a pin on that. I'll break that down. You have Wack playing the middleman, and you have Glasses now that the money's being put up. You seeing black folks. I was watching Glasses show earlier, and I was just watching the Culture United with Justin Hunt. Salute to Justin Hunt. I think they still on live right now. With Justin Hunt, he had AD and Glasses on, and they got in talking about the money and how we don't need the money. And I'm like, oh, black folks, I want to have a conversation with y'all today about the money and the white boy offering the money. So we gonna get into it. With that being said, welcome chat room. I got my internet. I'm working on my internet but it's still some issues that they have to come back out and fix. But let me know my internet is good. Let me know the sound is good. All right. What I'm gonna do is we about to get started in about 30, 45 seconds. I'm gonna play this dope ass intro song, and then we gonna come right back to it. All right, let's go. Let's go. Is this a setup? Rocky, is this a setup? Is this a setup, Rocky? Is this a setup? What we gonna do is, me and Rocky about to break down what's going on. Rocky was with me earlier while I was doing my investigative journalism. I was working hard on YouTube watching these videos while Rocky was right next to me, knocked out sleep. Rocky been asleep. While I've been working, he been sleeping. So now that Rocky's awake, we about to show Rocky the work that I've been doing while he been sleeping. Good chance, I give it about 10 minutes, his ass gonna be right back asleep. But I'ma still have y'all at least. Alright, Rocky, come on. While I was working hard for y'all, Rocky was right here with me, knocked out. So I want y'all to check in on what me and Rocky's work is doing. But what's up, chat room? Thank y'all for joining. I appreciate y'all. Shayla, Don, Mr. Smoke, Bismarck T, always cracking them jokes. C. Vesey, Legit, Humanes, Brian Barnes, good brother. Appreciate all y'all for joining. DMS, if I didn't get to you, the Infinite One, Donnie C, Goddess. Let's go and break it down. Let's break it down. So what I'm going to do is, let me play some of this. Chat room, do y'all want me to read? It just came to me. I was like, because Post Malone got a lot of, he said Post Malone. What's Glasses Malone's birthday? I might read his birthday to see why he has such conviction. Because that brother got a lot of conviction. And like I said, I'm not a fan of nobody. But Glasses Malone is somebody that even, he talks a lot, just like I talk a lot. He has certain areas that I do not agree with him on. But who the fuck cares? You're not going to agree with anybody on anything. You dig? I like how thoughtful the brother is. And I appreciate that. Because that's something you don't get too much on the internet today. And in music these days is thoughtfulness. And processing. And the ability to think through and say things. And have reason behind. That's my biggest thing. I don't really care what people say. But have reason behind what you say. Oh, I'm looking right now. Oh, he's an 8 of clubs. He's an 8 of clubs. So Glasses is an 8 of clubs. So 8 of clubs, that means fixed. Very, very, very rigid in how you are. But he's a Sagittarius, so that means he can see both sides. 8 of clubs, Sagittarius is somebody that's very fixated and focused and immovable. So I can tell by his card, you're not gonna move that brother's opinion unless you got some hardcore evidence and that he balances out and reasons with, and if it makes sense, he'll change how he think. But yeah, anything short of that, he 8 of clubs. So telling y'all right now, if y'all gonna argue with him, it's not gonna work. Not gonna change his opinion. But we might go further. We'll do some reading later on it, and we'll probably go deeper on Patreon on the cards. Yeah, remind me on the back side to read some cards into this situation before I take calls, and then I'll go deeper on the cards on Patreon. What's up, Miss Sky? Too howdy? You good? Said you over there in Georgia. Salute to Georgia. I know it's late. I know it's late over there. That's right, Fresco Live. You ain't supposed to agree with everything I say, cause I got some wild opinions. And some of my opinions honestly, let me tell you, before I get all the way into it, and I appreciate you for saying that, Fresco. My thing is, you're not supposed to agree with everything anybody says. The only thing I look for is, are you thinking? Are you using your mode of thought? Are you coming from your point of view, or are you repeating some shit you done heard? Most people, 90% of the people, just repeating some shit that they heard that sound good. That's when I'd be like, yeah, whatever, fuck you. I don't care. And I'll be very rude and disrespectful if I feel that you coming to me disrespectful and you just repeating what somebody else said. But if you don't agree with me, but you have thought behind it, that's where I could be like, hey, I get down with that. And I'm not going to I don't believe in making people agree what I agree with. I just ask questions and I say things because I'm trying to figure out, are you expressing how you truly feel, something you sat down and thought about, or is it some shit that you heard somebody else say, or is it something that you learned when you were 7 years old and you didn't change your value system? You're still 48 years old going off of a value system we learned when you were 7. I don't have tolerance for that. I don't have tolerance for stupidness. I don't have tolerance for people who don't think through and use their own opinions. I ain't no tolerance for that. But if you thought it through and yo thinking it through lands you over here and my thinking it through lands me over there, I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. You know what I mean? That's the way I see it. I'm cool with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Niggas ain't gonna agree. But that's why I appreciate people like Glasses, because I don't agree with some things, but the brother still thought through what he said and everything like that, you know? So let's get on let's get into this. Let's get into this. Jay Jimerson in the building, salute. So here we are, the 15-minute mark is where we get started. Comment section in the comments, and make sure you leave a comment after the video. 15-minute is where we really get into it. So Adin Ross, we all been following this whole situation with Adin Ross and Glasses Malone. I spent the first 15 minutes sort of explaining the backdrop to that. If you haven't been following, check out my previous videos. I'll give you a quick summation. Adin Ross disrespected Doechii because he felt that she said something about him in a rap, but he's been trolling her for over a year now. She can't wipe her ass sideways without him having his nose up in her bunghole. So that's been the issue. You can feel the undertones of what he's saying. Definitely has racial undertones and overtones. And as black people, if we feel it, we have the right to feel that way based on how this country operates and based off how a lot of these gamers like Adin Ross operates. So basically, summation, that Glasses Malone responded and said it's on site. He want to slap the shit out of Adin Ross, and he's been saying that black people need to get on code and not allow any white man to talk about a black woman like that. And then you had Wack 100 that was getting on Adin Ross's side, saying I'm gonna look out for them. You know, he's sort of taking Adin Ross's side, but for the most part, he's been playing the mediator in the way. But he's been playing the mediator in a slick way. If you're paying attention, I want y'all to really pay attention to Wack 100's role, because I'm not being, I don't, Wack 100 is a great marketer, so I'm not so much on Wack as I am his role. There's generally, when you're dealing with racial dynamics, there's generally a black person in the middle that's playing both roles. We could take this back to the colonial times, when oftentimes back in the colonial USA, you had a lot of black people that really helped build this country before the Revolutionary War, that played a lot of intermediaries between the white settlers and the native peoples of the land. Lois and Clark had, well, chat room, I know y'all smart in the chat. What was the brother that was with Lois and Clark? What was his name again? What was the brother that was with Lois and Clark? York. There was York. York was an intermediary between Lois and Clark. When Lois and Clark was making their way out west, they had a black intermediary named York. And usually when you see the black guy that's a face for the white guy, we got to remember that he's generally playing for the best interests of the white guy most of the time. And this doesn't go just with black people. This goes with Asians. This goes with Latinos. Usually whatever non-white guy is with the white guy, usually they come in peace to the people that they're speaking to. And this goes for Latinos out there, because I really want Latino people, the people who are like of Latino descent, Asian descent, y'all need to be listening to me the most, because anything that I say black is happening to you too, with somebody that looks like you. So usually that's the person that is usually playing, because usually he's getting paid, and it's only human nature to side with who's paying you. There's money involved. It's a hustle. So always pay attention to the black person that a white person calls to speak to a black person. Adin Ross called Wack for a reason. Adin Ross understands the racial dynamic better than every black person involved in this situation. And you can tell by the way they speak and cover for him, even when they're going at him still. Okay? So that's why I have y'all looking at Wack, because he's sort of playing the role like York. He's, so let's get into it. Now, Wack ain't a tether, Black Gemini. No. We done had these niggas long before we had a tether problem. Niggas like this taught the tethers how to be tethers, okay? Let's make that very clear. I do agree, although I do agree with understanding delineation, we as Black Americans cannot be so focused on tethers that we forget that our internal people taught the tether how to do this. Okay? This was an issue long before tethers. Long before them. We dealt this issue hundreds of years before the tether. Now listen to this.
Actually, Adin is, keep it real, he's filled out paperwork to come donate to $100 grand to a lot of the Black small businesses.
So I'm explaining what I'm doing, chat.
Listen, let me listen watch the whole video. He's saying that Adin filled out paperwork to donate to $100,000 to Black small businesses. Let's listen to the long form right here.
You squashed the situation with Adin Ross and TDE a little bit. Well, you kind of had to step in. A lot of people are talking about this.
I got a call from up top. Top Dog called me. So once Top Dog called me,
that's serious, yeah.
Yeah, once Top Dog called me because he knew I had
Get Top on the phone
in one way or another. So when he called me, I just texted Adin. I said, bro, I got a call from up top. Respectfully, let's.
Salute to Top Dog. They always say Black men can't handle things amicably. Salute to Top Dog for being such a peacemaker right here. I see why Kendrick had that song, Get Top on the phone. Cornrow Kenny. Man. Salute to Top Dog.
Ease up off of her. He said, okay, no problem. That was it. Now here goes the thing. There's where the clout chasing kicks in at. Adin ain't said shit since that day.
This is where, right here, now look. After he talks about Top stopping the beef, watch, this is the reason why I have him dressed like Virgil in the $1 Million Man. This is the reason why I have this. This right here is the reason why you see me having Wack look like Adin's valet, similar to Virgil in the $1 Million Man. This is Wack and Adin right here. Y'all remember Virgil? Remember Virgil? How he was always a tough, mean guy, being the face for the $1 Million Man. This some Virgil shit right here. Listen to what Wack's about to say. He about to say this is that Virgil action going on. This is why I called him York. This is why, you know, the person that's representing, y'all gotta watch out for.
There's where the clout chasing kicks in at. Adin ain't said shit since that day, been for 5 days. All the talk is still from the so-called street dudes.
That's a lie. Adin literally flew to New York and called out Joe Budden and started talking more about this whole situation and talking in his talking shit about Joe Budden was throwing shots at glasses, and that's just a couple days ago. So just I stopped it to point out to y'all that Wack is lying for Adin. He's lying. He's lying. This is what he about to say is a lie.
Rappers. Why? Because they want Adin to engage. I told Adin, you notice he hasn't been arrested. Adin, if you want to beat them, don't respond. Actually, Adin is, keep it real, he's filled out paperwork to come donate to $100 grand to a lot of the Black small businesses in the ghetto since then.
You see that? You see that? Now he says, first he says a lie, making it seem as if I keep saying post. He's making it seem as if glasses is just going on and on and on and on and on. And now he's calling glasses a clout chaser. He's calling glasses a clout chaser. But he's not calling glasses a clout chaser and basing it in truth. He's calling glasses a clout chaser and basing it in not, let's just say, in not a whole truth. You dig what I'm saying? It's like you want to know a lot about how our role is. The white boys always got a nigga. Like, do y'all know who Billy Lee is with George Washington? It is said that George Washington, when he was making his country up, Billy Lee ended up getting sick, so he didn't get all the way through 1776. Through George Washington's presidency. But when George Washington was being the diplomat and also being the leader that was leading in the Revolutionary War, George Washington always had Billy Lee with him. They always tell you about George Washington, but they never tell you about Billy Lee. And Billy Lee was someone that made a lot of deals with. In a lot of ways, he was the voice for George Washington. They don't tell you about Billy Lee, do they? Sorry, I got a tenant that's over here texting me about some bullshit. Hold on. One second. I got this fucking tenant. Hold on. Goddamn tenants. Like, having tenants is like having kids. Like, goddamn. They always say that Billy Lee was enslaved, but he always walked free. Billy wasn't treated like the rest of Georgia's slaves. And he was also freed. George Washington, I also remember something that George Washington did in 1799. He signed legislation to make sure that the children of slaves were born slaves. But he didn't do Billy Lee like this. If you listen to some people in the Moorish Science Temple, they say Billy Lee was a Moor, someone that already understood the way the United States was constructed before the arrival of the European, and he assisted the Continental Congress and George Washington in helping to set up the United States. That's if you listen to the brothers from the Moorish Science Temple. I have no reason to say that they're lying. He most definitely looked Moorish. They always try to make him seem as if the Moorish chapter is a chapter that America likes to write out. It's written out. Appreciate that, DJ G. Kenny. Appreciate that. Yes, sir. Hey, that's G. Kenny from the museum show. That's you, right? Yeah, man. That's DJ G. Kenny from we had him DJ the last couple Hidden History Museum shows. That's a cold motherfucker on the turntables right there. Salute to G. Kenny. If you was at the last couple museum shows, he was the one on the ones and the twos turning them tables. You dig? But yeah, look up Billy Lee. And what you will see, the more you understand American history and racial dynamics, you always see that there's always a black guy that's speaking for the white guy. George Washington had it. Lewis and Clark had it. You dig? Yes, sir. What's up, Brandy Kane? Salute to you. So, again, this is about life game, and watching the pieces on the chessboard. I know that I say the game don't change, only the players. This shit don't just apply to street hustling life. This applies to life. You dig? So let's keep going on what he says.
So he felt a way about it, like, I got to make this right, kind of.
No, that had nothing to do with it. That's just something he wanted to do. I believe Adin took whatever she said in her song, whatever it was. I think he took it like she was talking to him.
Right, because he's like the face.
You get what I'm saying?
Okay.
And I think he responded. And you
watch Billy Lee explain for Adin. Wack is like, you got so much, that brother Wack 100 got so much cultural cachet, and he gives it up. I don't know how much he's giving it for. Hopefully, I just hope Adin Ross is paying him a lot of money. That way he could. That way, you know, I just hope. I just hope whatever it is. I'm just looking at the eyes and looking at the eyes. He knows he's bullshit.
Maybe she didn't like what he was saying, and she just happened to be signed to the right team.
How do you think about streamers like?
So you see him basically playing the Billy Lee role. He's speaking up for them. But go back to what he said. He said that Adin is going to donate 100,000 to black businesses. Listen to this part again, and then listen to what Adin says in return.
Adin is, keep it real, he's filled out paperwork to come donate to 100 grand to a lot of the black small businesses.
A lot of the black small businesses. Wack 100, Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson said 100,000 to black businesses. Okay, now listen to what Adin says.
Explain what I'm doing, chat, because you know a lot of people think I'm not doing this because I'm racist. I'm just trying to prove a point here. That these people that want to fight so hard about certain shit, why don't you guys do anything good for where you come from? I give out $100,000 to my city. I'm gonna give out $100,000 to a lot of other people's businesses and stuff. Why can't they do it too? Why not? You know what I mean? It rubs me the wrong way. Why not? You could say these things, but actions speak way louder than words. I think we could all agree. But I want to make that very clear, guys. I'm not only doing black-owned businesses. I'm not only doing white-owned business.
Heard that?
I'm not only doing white-owned business. I'm not only doing black-owned businesses. 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 I'm not only doing black-owned businesses.
Keep it real, he's filled out paperwork to come donate to 100 grand to a lot of the black small businesses.
So I'm not only doing black-owned business.
To come donate to 100 grand to a lot of the black small businesses.
So I'm not only doing black-owned businesses.
A lot of the black small businesses.
So I'm not only doing black-owned businesses.
A lot of the black small businesses.
So, but I want to make that very clear, guys. I'm not only doing black-owned businesses.
The black small businesses.
So we can all agree. But I want to make that very clear, guys. I'm not only doing black-owned businesses.
Ran to a lot of the black small businesses.
Words, I think we can all agree. But I want to make that very clear, guys. I'm not only doing black-owned businesses.
100 grand to a lot of the black small businesses.
So I'm explaining what we can all agree. But I want to make that very clear, guys. I'm not only doing black-owned businesses.
100 grand to a lot of the black small businesses.
But I want to make that very clear, guys. I'm not only doing black-owned businesses.
100 grand to a lot of the black small businesses.
So I'm agree. But I want to make that very clear, guys. I'm not only doing black-owned businesses.
100 grand to a lot of the black small businesses.
We can all agree. But I want to make that very clear, guys. I'm not only doing black-owned businesses.
100 grand to a lot of the black small businesses.
I think we can all agree. But I want to make that very clear, guys. I'm not only doing black-owned businesses. I'm not.
And that's the hustle. That's the hustle right there. They always say that, remember, black people, we're always the people that get the brunt of the trauma. And like George Floyd and Black Lives Matter, which if you've been listening to this channel, you knew Black Lives Matter wasn't shit long before this. And before I started this channel in 2020. If you follow my YouTube, if you follow my Facebook page, going back to 2012, 2013, I was telling y'all Black Lives Matter ain't shit. The minute, when was that? Whenever was that Trayvon Martin? When I saw all them goddamn black lives, I was like, yeah. They use black plight to raise money for everybody else. The same way the Somalis get all those goddamn grants and shit, and as black people, as as minorities and people of color, the same way when we went through the civil rights movement, we take the brunt of the trauma. Everybody else gets $1. So that right there tells you right there it's a setup. You got the black man saying, hey, we gonna get $100,000 for black-owned businesses. Adin Ross comes straight out and says, this ain't just for black-owned businesses. Now, Noah Randall, you made the comment, and I'm going to break down this part now. You're right, Noah, to specifically black-owned businesses. But now here's the problem. Here's the problem. I'm listening to Glasses today. I'm listening to watching this podcast. And on this one, look at the title. Is Black America for Sale? What you got on Glasses podcast was, we don't want your money. And that a lot of the comments agreed. And you got a lot of that today on the Culture United with the Culture United. Where are they at? Salute to Ron Hurd. We all be. Salute. The company man. They still live. Salute to them.
Polo G had to check him. He was
And y'all need to go back and watch it. This was a dope ass episode. They still live right now. But there was even a lot of that sentiment on this channel, not necessarily from Justin Hunt, the host, but from some of the guests that were on the show also. I mean, for the most part. And it was a lot of sentiment amongst black folks today that we cannot be bought out, we cannot be sold, we don't want the money. I'm not going to go through Glasses' show. Y'all go back and watch it. But here's what I had to say to that. Out of all the shows, a lot of the reactions that I saw today, there was a lot of people saying that we don't want the money. It ain't about the money. It's about the respect. It's not about the money. It's about you understanding. Listen to me, black people. Yes, it's about the money. That's why everyone focuses on not being economic participants with you. That's why every time you get hurt and you get harmed, everybody else gets money. The whole game is keeping money out your pocket, black people. The only way you can fight propaganda is with the money to get your message out there. You need money for everything. You cannot talk morals with people that don't have morals. People like Adin Ross, their morals are money. That is their moral. There is no respecting you as a man. You're goyim to him. You're goyim to these people. They don't care about you. They never will, nor should they. These people speak money. If you want to punish them, you take their money. And no, there is no payoff. You take the money and you be productive with the money. The money don't mean it's okay. The money is, I'm going to hurt you where I know you're going to be hurt, and that's in your pockets. These people, you can't agree on morals with people. What's your morals ain't the next person's morals. Ariel Smoke says, I don't trust nobody involved, either side. I agree, Ariel Smoke. I'm with you right there, my brother. I'm with you. But black people, this is where we need to grow up. Everyone is concerned and focused on not spending money with you. That's why Bob Johnson had to sell the Bobcats slash Charlotte Hornets. When Bob Johnson owned the Charlotte Bobcats, do y'all know that when he built that arena down in Charlotte, he couldn't sell a naming rights deal? The businesses in Charlotte economically boxed the Charlotte Bobcats out of Charlotte. They basically had to sell the team to Michael Jordan, and Michael Jordan was never the majority owner. He was just a facial owner. It was the white boys who owned the team. And when they brought them white boys in, all of a sudden, the arena gets a naming rights deal. All of a sudden, the business class participated with the Charlotte Bobcats. I know because I knew someone that played for the team back then, and I paid attention to what was going on in the news at that time. But for those you don't know, there was a team when the NBA went back to Charlotte, before they got renamed the Hornets, they were called the Charlotte Bobcats. And they were owned by former BET owner Bob Johnson. And Bob Johnson always complained about when he had that team, the business class in Charlotte did not support the team. They were not buying ads. He couldn't sell a naming rights deal to the team stadium. Brand new stadium. Usually when you build a new stadium, AT&T, Spectrum, American Airlines, Coca-Cola, somebody want to put their name on that building. But as long as that black man on the team, nobody wanted to. It wasn't until he sold to an approved Negro like Michael Jordan, which everyone knew that Michael Jordan wasn't his team. He was the face of the team. The white boys owned it with him. The minute it got sold to the white boys, all of a sudden the Bobcats they changed their name back to the Charlotte Hornets, and the business class participated with them. The reason why, this is why black people got to know their history. And you hear it in the book Death of Rhythm and Blues. The reason why black radio left is because the businesses did not spend the money, the dollars, with black radio. If, first off, Pepsi, Coca-Cola didn't even want to advertise on black radio, and when corporations did advertise on black radio would get 40 cents on the dollar. If they pay $1 to a white radio station, that same company pay 40 cents to the black radio station. Usually worse than that. If a white station was getting $1, the black station was getting 15 cents. And that's how it still goes. The game with us is to keep us boxed out monetarily. And everyone participates. So you going around talking about it ain't about $1. It ain't about $1. You sound like a damn fool. Because you said it's not about $1 to people who only see the world in dollars. They don't see morality. They'll never respect you. As far as on a human, now, when you do what Glasses was talking about, slapping up a couple of them, they respect physical violence and money. Money, money, money. So black people talking about something you don't want to take no money, y'all sound like some goddamn fools. That's any black person. Because most, like 90% of the black people I saw talking were saying, we can't be bought. I want them to understand. They're not going to understand you. Okay? They don't understand each other. They understand money. This is why when one of my favorite, I told y'all, I tell y'all all the time, probably my favorite class in college. My two favorite classes I took when I was in college actually happened when I was in junior college. Before I got my 4-year degree from Cal State Northridge, but I got my 2-year from Santa Monica College, and those are some of my favorite classes that I took. And one of them was interpersonal communication, how to talk. And then I took them both at Santa Monica College and also at Cal State Northridge. Interpersonal communication, I think that was like a 300 level class, 350. And the other was intercultural communication. I wish that intercultural communication was a class, especially with all these different cultures in America. Even though it was a 300 level class I took in college, quite honestly, it should be something that's taught in the 9th grade. It's really a 9th grade class. Now, you would slow it down, you probably wouldn't get as conceptually dense, but it's something that could be taught in the 9th grade. Especially the core tenets of intercultural communication. And one of the core tenets of intercultural communication is you cannot, if you want to understand somebody, again, it's always if you want to understand, and part of understanding is not being duped. If you want to not get duped, if you want to understand what's going on, you cannot impose your cultural value system on another culture. Same with interpersonal communication. If I want to understand you, I cannot impose my value system to you. My value system and my love language might be words. I'm a club. So clubs, generally words can suffice. But words cannot suffice to somebody who an apology to them is money, something monetary. They gotta feel, touch. That's how they feel love. That's how they feel heard. That's the only thing they understand is monetary, tangibles. And that's where a lot of marriages go wrong. That's where a lot of relationships go wrong. My value system is words. Your value system is tangibles. If I impose my words value system on your tangible value system, I'm going to lose. Because as a wordsmith, as a words person, I cannot word enough somebody who only feels tangibles. If I want to truly understand and apologize and make that person feel good or bad, positive, negative, two sides of the same coin. If I want that person to understand things to feel it, I gotta speak their language. Because communication is a two-party thing. It's not one way, it's two-way. So if I need you to understand me, I gotta speak your language. I gotta come at you with something that you value for you to understand what I value. And as black people, we tend to value respect. We value straightforwardness. We value understanding. But we as black people have to understand that those are our values. That's what we agree upon. When you step outside of your culture and someone offends someone of your culture, you have to hit them in their pockets. You have to hit them where they can understand. If you're coming at people that don't have a value system, they don't value people, they don't value words, and you want them to just understand you, they can lie. Of course, anybody can lie. But you're not going to get them to give up anything that's going to harm or hurt them in any kind of way, or bother them, or speak to them. Not just harm or hurt. You're not giving up them. You're not having them give up anything that they want to give up. They can lie to you all day, but nothing in their lives change. Nothing in how they move change. They'll lie, but like, oh yeah, sorry, yeah. Adin Ross moved in a way that his culture values. His culture doesn't value people. His culture don't value understanding. His culture values money. What black people need to understand is we are dealing with people who only see money. So if they want to offer money, you take it. Not only do you not take it, you demand that that money only comes to black people. Where you niggas should have been offended was him saying he's going to give money to other people over how he hurt you. Black folks literally got this white boy by the nuts. It was some basketball player he said that he had on his podcast that canceled. And he's telling you, because on Glass's show, one of the brothers was saying, you know, how do you know that money ain't nothing to him? It ain't that, it ain't this, it ain't that. It ain't so. Your apology ain't nothing to him. Money is how he talks. You take the money. Not only do you take the money, you say which businesses, because he said he was going to give it to businesses, then you direct which businesses it go to. That's not selling. That's not selling out. You take the money and you still stay on your square. Let me give you an example. When Kyrie Irving went through what he went through, and he offended Adin Ross's community, he had to pay money. He had to go through culturally sensitive classes, and it was still very, 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 very clear. You better not ever say it again, nigga. Just pay attention to the world that you live in. If you offend Adin Ross's people, you gotta pay money, and you better not say it again. It ain't no one or the other. It ain't no, oh, he paid money and now I get to say it again. No, you come up off that cash, you donate because a black business is needed. I'm sure all of you brothers know either you got a business or you know somebody that got a business that needs the money. You take the money and you can't say that shit no more. And the money better go to black businesses because you didn't offend other minority groups. This is us. Black people gotta grow up. Oh yeah, Nick Cannon, right, Mr. Smoke? Nick Cannon. They took Nick Cannon's money and said you better not bring us up again, nigga. That's the world we live in. Yeah, donate that 100K to the Black American Music Family Tree Historical Foundation. You goddamn right. I got a whole ass foundation that can use the money. And y'all black asses need to be setting up foundations. Glasses Malone will be a dope runner If Glasses had a hip hop historical foundation, think about all the good he could do. You don't think that brother he wouldn't employ a bunch of cats from Compton and South Central with that? He'd be able to take that money and all the stuff that he's talking about on the podcast. He would now be able to create an institution to encapsulate that. But that wouldn't run without money. That's real talk. Nick Cannon had to pay that money, not ever say anything about that community again, and that nigga ain't put out the Dr. CB documentary. When did black people start thinking that just because you get some money, that's no? You take the money and you say, and you still can't talk about it, ho? That's what you do to Adin Ross. Yeah, I'm taking the money, and you still can't say nothing, you little bitch. That's what you say to Adin Ross. My money. And you better not say nothing, you little bitch. Shit. That's how you do it. Man, black folks, you better step into this century. But yeah, let me see here. Let's go into the cards of this situation. And then and then once I go into the cards of this situation, we're gonna talk a little bit more. Adin Ross, October 11th. Cards. Birthday chart. October 11th. Oh, shit! And Adin Ross is a jack of clubs. You know what the jack of clubs is? The jack of clubs is the liar. That's the liar card. Let me show y'all how this is going to work out from a card perspective. 10, 11, 2000. 10. Let me see here. Let me see here. And I'm going to take some of y'all calls in a second. Press the number one. Y'all, first off, press the number one if you even want to do calls. Because, shit, sometimes I'll say let's do calls and you niggas be like, press number one if you want me to even do calls. 47 0407. Press number one if you want me to even do calls. 1977. Oh yeah, it's crazy how these cars are unfolding cruise control. I told y'all when the year started, this is the year of direct confrontation. And what do we get? Second day of the year. Glasses calling for them hands. Them cars be on point, yo. Oh, Wack is an ace of spades. Okay. I got ya. Ace of spades always is the trickster. That's why you gotta watch Wack. That's why you never see me go hard on Wack. Y'all see what it, but you never see me go hard on him. Now I see his card, I see why. I don't go harder because I see Wack as somebody that's playing the game. But everybody wants. Okay, I'll open the phone line. Give me like 5 minutes, and I'll open up the phone line in 5 minutes. Let me do a quick little read. I'll do a deeper read on you on Patreon. We'll go deeper on Patreon. But this is Wack 100's cards right here. He's an ace of spades, meaning he's a trickster. He's always gonna hide his intentions. You're never gonna know what direction Wack's coming from. Wack is a mastermind at manipulating things behind the scenes. A straight up mastermind. And in his year, okay. Okay. Oh, okay. Wack better watch out because he's due for a change this year. As we get closer to Wack's birthday, which is April 7th, he's gonna he's due for a new start. Some new ventures, some new stuff going on. But yeah, he's a ace of spades. You don't really know what direction he's coming from. Anybody around him better watch out. Now, Adin Ross, now Wack he's predictable on a certain level, but underneath, it levels to things. Underneath the surface, people around him don't know what he gonna do. He gonna I'll go deeper on Patreon. I'm not gonna say all that on YouTube. I'll go deeper on Patreon. Adin Ross, however, is a jack of clubs. And the jack of clubs is the card of the liar. And it's also the salesman. It also makes him a good streamer. Because the jack of clubs can tell you is the card that tells you anything you want to hear. But when you look at his Saturn card, Four Hearts, you appeal to him through his emotions. He's a club, but the way to appeal to him is emotionally. And that Seven of Spades, Venus, another way to appeal to him, sevens deal with money. You gotta see right there, that Seven of Spades and Venus right now, money. And he uses his money for war. That's why Adin Ross is about his money. Money is his war chest. His war chest is his money. The Seven of Spades tells me that he fights things with money. He also fights it with a superior spiritual understanding. That Seven of Spades also tells me that, y'all see Adin Ross keep saying, I'm Jewish, I'm Jewish, I'm Jewish. You got to understand, one thing that the Jewish understand better than most people, basically more than anybody, money is spiritual. Money's a circuit. And the more of your spirit you have tuned into money and dialed into how to get it, the more you're going to attract it. And a spade is willing to get it in any way, shape, or form. Anytime you see a spade, pay attention to when you see a spade in the card. Pay attention to a spade. Look at a spade. What do you see when you see a spade? Let me pull up the poker card symbol. The pips on the cards could tell you a whole lot, just the symbols. What do you see when you see a spade? A spade encompasses every card below it. So anytime you see a spade is dealing with everything. You see an upside down heart for the hearts. You see the tip that's a diamond. And you see the bottom third, which is a clove, which is a club. You have all four shapes, all four symbols in a spade. What else do you have in a spade? A spade is also a tip of a spear. You can cut. But it can cut through emotions, through values, and through words. And sevens are warlike. All sevens like to get it in. They fight. Seven of hearts fights on the emotional level. Seven of diamonds fights on a material level. Money, taking things from you. Seven of clubs fights on a mental level. And the seven of spades knows how to use all three. And they all three seven of hearts more so like to talk than actual physically fight. But seven of clubs, seven of diamonds, seven of spades, that physical confrontation is also part of it too. But Adin's a punk, so he's not going to use the physical. He's going to use the emotional plea. And that's in his Venus. Venus tells you how a person acts, how they act. But overall, with that Jack, it's going to be a lot of lying, a lot of manipulation. Now, glasses, and I'm going to go deeper on Patreon tomorrow. We're going to do a Patreon tomorrow on this. Glasses, 8 of clubs, fixed, staunch, stubborn, and their values mean a hell of a lot to them. Glasses is a value-based person. That's why he's giving passes to academics, because he knows how to see value in people, value in situations, and the value is going to supersede the emotion. But the downside of 8 of clubs is people who recognize that they can manipulate people because they understand that you see their intrinsic value. So they turn around and do all kind of other underhanded stuff thinking that they're going to get away with it. And sometimes the 8 of clubs will allow it to happen because the 8 of clubs sees the bigger picture. And that's how I got it covered. That's how Glasses sees it. Glasses sees the bigger picture. 8 of clubs, value. I mean, but they very fixed in their value. And let's see here. 10 of hearts. Oh, he is a 10 of hearts. That's why he wants to fight so. The reason why Glasses want to fight so goddamn much because it's a 10 of hearts here, and his Mars card is a 10 of hearts. 10 of hearts is, what did I say 10 of hearts is? For the year. Fights. He has it in his Mars. Mars is your challenge area. So Glasses challenge, a lot of his challenge in life is confrontation and dealing with confrontation. And so when he says he wants to slap old boy, that nigga means it. He means it truly. I'm going to open up the phone lines now and see what y'all think. Y'all see the number on down near the bottom. And we're going to go deeper tomorrow on Patreon on the card reading tier. We're going to read this from the cards. But call in 323-705-5150. 323-705-5150. Extension 800. Let's see what's going on. So we got to understand this, folks. This is a setup. It's a setup from the point of view of Adin, who's trying the old tricks that he learned, passed down. Let's offend black people. And then, see, another reason why Adin Ross is offering money is because he's speaking to his people. That's a message to his people that, hey, look, I'm not that bad. I gave some money. But when you say I'm going to give it to a bunch of different people, that shows his people that, hey, look, I'm not going to give enough or give something that's going to change anything. You know? But yeah, I see this playing out the way this shit's playing out on the cards. Yeah, let me see here. Let's see, how's it gonna play? See, tomorrow, what we're gonna do tomorrow on Patreon? We're gonna do a relationship reading between Glasses, Adin, and Wack. And we're gonna go into the cards to see if we can predict how this is going to turn out. That requires a lot of math on my end as a reader. I gotta do a lot of adding of cards, and so I ain't about to do all that shit over here on YouTube. It's just a lot of work. But I'll do it tomorrow on Patreon because y'all pay. I work for money, sis. Masters, sis, yes sir. I do the extra works for the money, yes sir. Yes sir. Y'all wants me to read y'all cards? I'm gonna tap my dancing. I tap dance for Patreon. Patreon be like, hey Dewan, I got an idea. What are you talking about? I'll be like, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir. Salute to Patreon. Yeah, my Patreon. Yeah, I do it. Yes, sir. I do it. He said, "Is we sick?" Yeah. If my Patreon subscribers say we sick, then yes, we sick. My Patreon subscribers invest in me, so if my Patreon subscribers say we sick, I'm like, we sick, boss. Yeah, I bust my eyes for Patreon. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, these niggas over here acting like show enough from The Last Dragon. Keep your money. You just have Leroy at the designated place, at the designated time, and I'll gladly designate his ass for dismemberment. And then Eddie Arcadian said, all right, Mr. Nuff. That was one of my favorite scenes on The Last Dragon. You got Leroy? Yeah. Yeah. You just make sure you have him at here it is. This scene right here. The Last Dragon's on YouTube, so we should be good. Y'all remember this scene on The Last Dragon? This is my shit right here. Go. Y'all saw Eddie Arcadian reacted? Yeah, whatever. The money was going to be yours. The money's going to be yours. You might as well take it. Dragon. That's how you niggas sound. Keep your money. Hell nah. You better take that money. Question. When they come to you and when they went to Nick Cannon and took Nick Cannon's money, did they say, oh, this is morally, you can now say what you want to say, Nick Cannon? No, I'm taking your money because that's my language that I speak, and you still can't say that. That be tripping me out when it comes to niggas. Niggas always talking something, get the money. Dollar bill, y'all. But then when the white boy offer money for his transactions, you don't want the money. That's something that we got to work out internally, black folks. You're not going to get people's morals. Okay? This world ain't got no morals. This world only understands power. They don't understand morals. Everybody's morals is different. People don't agree on what morals is. But a dollar is a dollar, whether a Catholic has that dollar, an Asian has that dollar, a black person has that dollar, a Protestant has that dollar. That dollar is the same no matter who's holding it. Values change from family to family, to individual, but the dollar stays the same. What we have as black people is cultural cachet. What they have is dollars. And the way this has been working is they use our cultural cachet to cash in their dollars. Adin Ross needs black cultural cachet to bring in dollars. Without black cultural cachet, he cannot bring in dollars. We have the cultural cachet, but we don't have the dollars. That's why we're susceptible to YouTube's rules and Universal Music's distribution. The reason why we behind the 8 ball with our creation, with our music, with our what we do is we don't have the dollars. We got the cachet with no cash. They got the cash with no cachet. The difference is they've learned how to flip our cachet into their cash. While we're going around saying we don't need your cash. Y'all see how it works? Y'all said y'all wanted to call in, but y'all didn't. And I'm not about to keep this motherfucker open. But there you have it. Your dumb ass better take that cash. All right? Black ass. But this is with love and respect to everybody that I'm talking about. Even the Wack 100. Well, I don't have no respect to Adin Ross. Fuck him. But I still got love and respect for Wack 100 because he's a black man at the end of the day. But pay attention to how that to the role that black man is playing. York. It's always a black man that is gonna validate them. It's always been that way. George Washington even needed one himself. If George Washington needed a nigga, who the fuck is Adin Ross? They all had him. They all generally still do. Get out that moral. Like, it's good to be moral, but let's be moral with each other. We got to know that that moral argument only works with one another. Okay? Got to know that. That moral argument only works with one another. Everyone else, you better understand where their morals lie. And most of their morals lie in money. And they hate giving it up. So the more you make them give it up, the more you're going to make them feel it. All right? Real talk. Judas was also a black man. Be careful. 100. I was going to talk about some other stuff today, but I don't want to get into it. We'll talk about some different stuff tomorrow, all right? Thank y'all again for listening. Join the Patreon. We're going to do some readings tomorrow on Patreon about this whole situation. All right? You have a good one.